What's up, everybody? How are you? Happy Wednesday for the people that watch us on Wednesdays that didn't see us Monday. Happy New Year. It is great to be here with you. I appreciate you all. Thank you. This is the Real Talk segment with Kevin and Chuck. And listen, this is what we do. We're going to give you some updates on some things, and we're also going to see what you guys want to talk about tonight. Hopefully it's something good and things is quiet. It's a new year. I mean, we have crime out here in the world, so I mean we know that's something that's happening. For those that are chiming in from YouTube, we appreciate you. Subscribe, tell a friend. If you're watching on Facebook Live, more than welcome. If there's something that you want to discuss, please let Kevin and I know. Chuck might not be with us tonight. If he is, blessings to him. If he's not, we totally understand. I understand. So just to give you some updates real quick. In fact, let me get situated, everybody. I apologize. Give you some updates. Every Monday, first Monday of the month, we have Assembly Al Taylor. We had a great show Monday. We had the Manhattan Borough President, newly elected, Mark Levine. Hey, Stefania, how are you? Pearline, what's up, Pearl? How are you? Brian, what's up, Ryan? Lorraine, how's everybody doing? My guys and ladies. We had Mark Levine. The second Monday of the month, we have Dr. Marilyn Corder. She joined in with Mark. That was good. And the third Monday of the month, we have Allison Williams. HT, what's up in the building, brother? Harold, what's going on? We got to get together when you come to town. Everybody, Harold is the legend. Joy Taylor is in the building. What's going on, everybody? Thanks for chiming in. Lorraine Anderson is in the building. Happy New Year to you all. So the third Monday of the month is Real Talk with Allison Williams. Hey, Joy. And for those that don't know, Allison was sick. She is doing much better. I'll leave it at that. But your prayers are being answered. I had the pleasure of speaking with her today. So that was a great feeling. That is my pre-birthday gift. For those that don't know, tomorrow is my birthday. So tomorrow I will go live because we can't party like I used to. Tomorrow I'm going to go live at 7 o'clock so everybody can have a drink with me. Right? So you get your glasses or whatever you are. Listen, I'm an innovator, baby. I'm going to change things up. So tomorrow I'm going to come on here, not stream, but in YouTube, but I'm just going to come on Facebook, and whoever comes on live with me, we come on live. You can wish me happy birthday. Malika and I will toast. What's this Omicron and everything happening out here, and it seems like everybody we've been around or close to are catching COVID at some point or fashion. So it's really kind of scary, and I just figured I'd rather stay safe and sorry. I'd rather party with you years from now or years later than try to do something now and God forbid something happen to any friend of mine or a family member. Mark is in the building. What's going on? So with that being said, in the last Monday of the month, we have Real Talk with Pastor Kevin Graves. Spiritual talk, beautiful thing when he intertwines today, your faith, and what's happening in today's world. Tonight's show is sponsored by the Deadly Art magazines, right? If you don't know, yours truly is in this magazine. I was honored that Nathan Ingram, a legend in the martial arts, decided to put your boy, for all those that don't know, I've been doing the martial arts for 30 some years. So I was honored to be asked to be in his magazine, and you can get it on Amazon. And it's the number one martial arts magazine or magazine, I think, right now on Amazon. He has two of them out. So the Daily Arts magazine. I'm in this one for those that want to know. So I appreciate you. Um, yes. Hey, great. I'm glad Allison's doing better. You getting old and wise, Bill. Yeah, I am. We definitely are. So tomorrow is my birthday. So like I said, for all those, I will be coming on tomorrow live around 7 o'clock on Facebook. Have your glass, chime in and just say happy birthday with a brother. Hey Vera with the wonderful last name, Forster. I love that name. How can I not? And without further ado, every Wednesday of the month we have Kevin and Chuck. Thank you, Lorraine. Appreciate you. Lorraine and I go back to grammar school together, baby. That's my dog. That's my homie. That's my sister. And without further ado, Florence, another Our Lady of Lords alumni with me in the building. We were all together, lived across the street. Without further ado, I'm going to bring in my co-host for the evening and find out how his New Year start has been. Happy New Year, Kevin.
Happy New Year, Bill.
What's going on?
Echo back there.
Huh?
So you got that nice echo.
Yeah. How's the
Everything's good.
What'd you do for New Year's?
Nothing. I hung out with my kids.
That's a beautiful thing.
My two little ones. I mean, but they were asleep by 9:30.
That's a beautiful one. That's a beautiful thing. Yeah, listen, I was dozed off, and Malika and I had almost kind of set an alarm clock to get up so he could see the New Year's come in. Lionel Lucas in the building. What's going on, brother? Got a lot of NYPD, my people in the building. We got Joy. We got HT in the building. HT, we're gonna have to get you on. We'll have to get you on Monday. We want to join in with us on Wednesdays. And anybody, if I haven't told you already, you're always welcome to come on and have a conversation with us on any topic that you want to talk about. If you have a topic that you want us to discuss tonight, we can talk about it. We have a new mayor. We're coming on the anniversary of the insurrection on the White House. On the Capitol, excuse me. That is my birthday, besides being the Day of the Three Kings, is now that's going to go down in infamy. So everybody's going to know that a historical day. My birthday turned to mush. Now let me stop. I say all that to say, the officers were on TV tonight talking about their feelings in regards to that. It's a year, and doesn't a year go fast? Like,
it's amazing that that's actually a year ago, Bill. Tomorrow, right?
And we were here talking about it a year ago.
Yeah, and we talked about it several times throughout the year.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's
What's
the
up,
gift that
JB?
keeps on giving.
Yeah, shout out to everybody. And it's so funny. You and I were discussing how they have arrested so many people, but you and I, we were talking in the green room that what's up, Lewis, my man. We were talking in the green room when we were talking one time how in our personal green room that none of them are really doing any time.
Well, the cases aren't adjudicated yet. Actually, and a large majority of them are being held or waiting trial.
Well, some of them are not even going to trial.
Well, yeah. Well, that's most cases.
Right.
What is it? 85% of arrests don't go to trial. 90% depending on the jurisdiction. Right. So that's normal.
Yeah. I think, just people in general. Ethnicity has nothing to do with this, or maybe political parties do play in this. But I think people just felt like that was just a total violation. Crime is a violation of somebody's rights and stuff like that. What up, Harold Folks in the building, my guy? With that being said, there's a thing coming out, and Joy, I would love to know you could type in. They're trying to do away with solitary confinement with inmates. But what did you say, Florence? They are looking to prosecute a few and ignore the ones who did the plotting. What do you think? What do you
Well,
think?
I'm going to disagree with her on that.
Okay.
So this thing, we've talked about it a bunch, but it is being investigated like no other crime in this country has ever been.
Mm-hmm.
We're up to, I think it's over. I have to check the stats. I think my first stat of the year.
Go ahead. Do that.
We're over 600 arrests made from it. There are people who are being charged with the plotting of it beforehand. That's being done. That takes a lot of work, right? So you got to think about the prosecutor's office, the U.S. attorney in Washington doesn't handle 600 cases in a year across the board of all crimes they handle. For one incident, they're now tasked with handling over 600, and it's more because there's still a whole bunch that are pending. So identify people, arrest them for being there, for the action you caught on video. Great. And you can prosecute that. And you keep it, and it's a revolving door of keep prosecuting those. Mm-hmm. When that's done and those people are arrested, when I arrest you, we get arrested in your house, or I take your computer, I take your phone, I take stuff out of your home, we do search warrants. Reviewing that data can take a year. It can, literally take a year. Reading, if I have to read, I do this, right? I do this. I supervise people who do this. You can have a terabyte of data on your computer at home. A terabyte of data is a lot of data to sit and read through and make sense of. And then what's on your phone and then what's in your cloud accounts. That's work. So for the plotting behind it and who orchestrated groups, there's a few who have been charged. A few of the 5%ers have been charged for orchestrating. You can pull that one and find it. It's going to take time. It just does. They're doing all the initial arrests, reviewing everybody. What did they know before? Getting intent from what's on their devices, from what's in their homes, what they're getting off their phones and all that stuff. And that's where you'll see more of the conspiracy charges against people for plotting things beforehand. But that's coming. It is absolutely coming. If you're expecting 45 to be part of that, then you're going to be disappointed, right? If that's what you're looking for. If you're looking for politicians to be put into that, that's not there at this point. They're not seeing.
I forgot the article that I should have resent it again. I know we have it in our chat in lieu of what I sent and what we were talking about, but I know it had something to do with saying about people not being prosecuted, and I don't know if they're plea bargaining out or something like that. I don't think it said anything like that, Kev. I just know it was just saying like people are not serving any time.
No, there's definitely serving time, but there's an array of people, right? There's the low end of you entered the building. That's the lowest end. And then there's you entered the building with something, right? Like I've always said, if you had flex cuff on you, you deserve to, like, there's no reason for a person to have flex cuffs at a protest, right? That to me, that shows intent. If you had an actual weapon on you, higher. You assaulted somebody, higher. Those people with the weapons and assault, they're doing time. Those things just haven't been adjudicated yet. So we're making a rash decision on, and people are writing reports on, well, nobody's serving time yet. They're not adjudicated yet. Like those, you've been arrested, you're in jail pending trial. So yeah, you haven't been sentenced to 5 years, 10 years, 15 years yet, but you're still sitting in jail.
And it's so funny. You and I had a discussion about. Also, Mark said treasonous actions require convictions.
No question.
Simple.
No question.
So do you think? Let me ask you a question. Do you think? And I'm just asking you, and we can ask the audience. Do you think what they did was treasonous?
I don't think it is to the letter of the law. I don't think it is. And that's why nobody's being charged with treason. No one's being charged with sedition. They're being charged with normal felonies. There's higher felonies for trespass into that government building, and they're being charged with acts of violence, but they're not being charged with the others. One thing I know from being in this business a long time is, people, you can read the law and you say, oh, that fits. But if you haven't been a prosecutor and you haven't, dealt with the courts and court decisions on what really, really fits and what doesn't, you don't know it. And, there is nobody at this point charged with those things.
Okay.
It's a U.S. attorney, and it's the prosecutor's office in D.C. They're Democrats, right? So you can't say they're trying to be, politically, I wouldn't think they would try to be lenient because it doesn't fit their party. So I got to go with and trust it at this point.
So let me ask you a question, because I heard you said something about different levels of the law when it comes to, I guess, treason. Treason.
Yeah.
And you said something about going into the Capitol, and there's different levels. You said, and correct me if I'm wrong. I'm just trying to remember what you said exactly. You said if they had the zip tapes, the zip cuffs, or a weapon, different levels. Correct?
Yep.
So let me ask you a question. If a person enters a house, two guys enter a house, burglary, right? Because let's play with the law. We arrest two people for burglary, because burglary is they enter the house unlawfully, correct? Right? Do they get charged separately if one has it? No, what?
No, they get charged the same.
So why would you separate trees?
But we're talking about a different thing, though. Let's talk about a protest in New York City. There's a protest in New York City that's getting a little rambunctious. In the crowd, somebody throws a Molotov cocktail. Does the whole 150, 500 people get charged with that Molotov cocktail? No. No,
of course not. But we're talking about entering a dwelling or a location. We're not talking about in an open field.
Well, now we're still talking about a protest, a large mass of people. Most of them don't know each other.
Okay, right? But I think a lot of these people might have, and I'm not saying if they did, they don't. But the bottom line is, we're talking about people entering a location knowingly, instead of standing around next to somebody and not knowing that they were going to throw something.
Yeah, but there's hundreds. How many entered the Capitol? Hundreds?
Yes.
If not 1,000?
Yes.
More?
Yes.
There's no way they all know each other.
Okay, I agree with that.
Right? There's no way they all know each other. I don't know what extent you're going to go to. You don't know what extent I'll go to. You can't charge them all with the assaults. Like, everybody can't get charged. You can't charge 500 people with the assault to the cops.
No, I'm not charging everybody with the assault, because I totally understand.
But if it was three of us who committed a burglary and one of us shot a cop on the way out, we're all getting charged with that.
Okay. I agree with that. Well, okay. Wait a minute now. Why are we all getting charged with that?
Because that's actually the letter of the law. If we go, you, me, and Chuck go commit a robbery, and Chuck shoots the guy at the counter, you and I are getting charged with that murder.
Okay, so is that only New York State, or is that just the law?
I think that's that's the common, because we together, knowingly, the three of us went in there to commit that crime together.
Okay, so let me stay with you on that then.
We knew each other.
Okay, so let me just stay with you. When that officer was getting crushed to death, and those people around him, should everybody get charged with murder or some kind of crime?
Or attempted murder. I mean,
attempted murder.
No officer.
Because he died. He died.
No officer was killed. No officer was murdered there. The autopsy came back. The officer that died there was natural causes. Google it. I'm not.
Wait. I'm just hold on. I'm not going to dispute you and say that's not what the ME said. But when you get crushed against a door,
that officer's not the one that died.
That's not the one that died.
No, he's been on TV.
Oh, that one has been on TV.
Yeah.
So and okay, the one with the assault. The
So
one
the
that
one
died
who's
was the
crushed.
one outside.
Right, and let's talk about the one who's crushed. Right, that's a good one because it's an interesting one. The people in front pushing and trying to crush him absolutely should be charged. If you're 10 people back, should you be charged?
But you said this. You said this earlier in lieu of an officer. If that you said that's the letter of the law.
But
and I'm going to go to what you're saying.
There's 150 of us pushing at the door. I really can't even see what's going on in the front because I'm 10 people back.
But I'm pushing. But I'm still pushing.
I'm pushing and being pushed. It's even an argument. Am I actually pushing? Or am I like there's people in there who are just being pushed and stuck going with it? There's people pushing. It's mass confusion.
So let me ask you a
tough
question.
one.
Let me ask you a question because I hear you playing devil's advocate, and correct me if I'm wrong if you're not.
I'm not playing devil's advocate. I'm playing Kevin.
Okay. All right. Playing Kevin. Good. Fair enough. If I'm pushing and I'm 10 people behind and I'm pushing and there's somebody that gets John Doe or officer and he's getting crushed.
Yep.
And I should not be held accountable for that.
It's very hard to say the people in that crowd who was pushing and who wasn't. It's just hard.
Well, you're saying they're doing all the investigations, they're doing all the things.
But it's going to be very hard. It's easy the first row, right? Even that's arguable, Bill. I could be the first one and I'm being pushed too. Right? That's a very tough, right? You have to sort through that. I could be the one next to the officer and I'm trying to stop it. But what can I do against 150 people pushing me or 1,000 people pushing me? Like, even the first guy next to the officer could be. So it's a tough one. I'm not, the ones there were cases where they clearly assaulted them, those are easy. This is a more complicated one. And the videos will show if I'm pushing, I'm charged.
And that's all I'm trying to say. Like,
if you're in the front, you're pushing, you're charged. If you're in the middle and back pushing, I'm going to go. That's a hard one to charge.
Okay, because that's my point. Because the bottom line is, what is it to find out?
If I'm in the back screaming, kill him, charged. Because then now I'm trying. It's hard. You have to be able to show the person.
So let me ask you a question. What should the people be charged with that was in there talking about they wanted to hang Pence and they wanted to hang Nancy Pelosi? Should they be charged with extra crimes?
There are some who said that stuff, right? So if you got them on video saying it, they broke in, they tried to get in there. Yeah, I think you got to go that direction. But what really would sink any of them? If they had flex cups on them, if they had ropes on them, right? Like
so you're looking for
you always
call a smoking gun. You and I call a smoking gun. That's what you're looking for.
You remember the Cannibal Cop?
Refresh my memory.
So there was a cop who was arrested because he was in these forums talking about kidnapping women and eating them, and he was arrested, convicted. And then later on, it was overturned. And part of the problem with the Cannibal Cop was, as much as he wrote all this stuff, he was going to do it and talked about and plotted all these things online and discussed all these things very, very detailed. What they were missing was one actual overt act. If he would have bought one item, he's done. And that's how that's how a lot of the terrorism cases are done. They have to do the one physical overt act to sink them. You need that one piece to show that person's goal was to actually hang Nancy Pelosi. Having a rope on him, is a real good way of showing that. Having flex cuffs on you, good way of showing that. Having a gun on you, great way of showing, your intent. So you need a piece.
Okay, so I hear what you're saying. So let's break it down for the people that are listening right now. And let me see if I can give it to them in another example. So a person breaks in somebody's house, apartment, and doesn't kill him. You're not going to charge them with attempted murder because they didn't do anything. Just because they tied them up doesn't mean it was attempted murder. That's what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay. But we definitely could charge him with burglary and what, kidnapping?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, it's actually not kidnapping because you didn't remove them. It's unlawful
Absolutely.
imprisonment.
Unlawful imprisonment. Exactly. So now this is when when the law kind of is like we play word games, right? Because the bottom line is, and I'm not saying you playing word games, I'm just saying the law.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. You know, like I said, two people break in, enter a house. One person kills the owners of that apartment.
Both go for murder.
Only both for murder.
Both go for murder. Because
So,
you had agreed beforehand to commit that felony together.
So do you think those people that entered
now there's a different one. You and I go out to a bar together. You and I go to Chuck's house together. And when you get there, you pull out your gun and shoot Chuck in the head. I should not be charged with that. I had no idea. I didn't go there to commit a crime. I didn't try to break into the house with you. You and I went there. You said, Kev, we'll go to Chuck's next week. You give me a ride. I gave you a ride. We drove to Chuck's. You walked in. You blew his head off. I can't be charged with that.
Yeah. Unknowingly. Absolutely. Unknowingly. Yeah. Definitely. What's up, James? What's up, everybody? This is Real Talk Chronicles. I'm your host, Bill Forster, with my co-host, Cameron Branzetti.
So would the U.S. attorney, the question then becomes, if I'm on video there saying, let's kill Nancy, and I break through and I get in.
Well,
there's those exist.
There are people on video saying that.
Those exist. I like to see if they charge them. It's a weak case because you're missing the ability to kill her, right? You don't have that one. Having that weapon on you shows it.
Kevin, let me just say the reason I hear what you're saying about weak case, but is it really weak? Because none of these people were arrested the day of. Mm-hmm. So what, unbeknown to us, no one here knows.
Yeah. They could have had a weapon. We don't know it. And there are plenty of those. There are plenty of those. And I can't green room conversation, but there are plenty of those.
Right.
And that's possible, but it's a very hard conviction for a prosecutor to get you on. You just said it, and you're in the middle of this riot. If you and I were talking, and we texted back and forth, and in those texts I told you I'm going to go kill Nancy Pelosi, and then I broke into Nancy's house tonight, they're going to charge me with attempted murder, right? Because it's very individual act. One led to the other. Screaming it while you're there in the heat of something is little bit different, and it becomes just a little harder for a prosecutor. It's not saying it's not the person's intent. I'm not saying it's not what they meant to do, and I'm not saying it's not worth trying it to prosecuting for it. I'm just telling you, it's difficult.
Okay. I'm gonna send you something, Kevin, via Messenger. See if you can be able to get it and pull it up while we can talk. It was just sent to me. Thank you, my friend. I don't know if you want to be exposed, so I didn't say who you are. Thank you, though. It's something that you can see. But listen, let me just read some comments as you look that up. Okay. Lorraine said, okay, Stefani says, can we discuss Mayor Adams' statements about low-skilled workers and the backlash he's facing? You're going to have to give me more about that. I don't know what he said about low-skilled workers. Lorraine said, they are not serving time because of their color. If the rioters were Black or Latino, they would have already been processed. Joy also believed with that. Shout out to Michelle Alexander. Nitty, what's up? Gerald Santiago, Lou York, what's going on, brother? Appreciate everybody chiming in right now. Let's see. Oh, you sent it to me on IG. I've been real busy, Stefania. I didn't get a chance to look at it. You're gonna have to send it. Let's see. What else did Mark also said? And that's the problem. If you can't chop the head off, then why bother? We have a system that extremely backwards. Treason. And that's all he's trying to say, Kevin, in regards to that. If it's treason, it's treason. It's like, if it walks like a duck, if it quacks like a duck, and it talks like a duck, then it's a damn duck.
Yeah.
Lorraine also said Trump should be charged with treason. Kevin, do you think that Trump should be charged with treason?
I think, to me, at this point, it's obvious no. And why I'm telling you that, if it was there, you have a Democrat-run Congress that's doing the investigation and a president. If they had that smoking gun, it would be done. That's right. What he said publicly is not enough. It's just not. It's not.
So the fact that he didn't even do anything, and he kind of antagonized it, for a better word, you just like, there isn't any accountability. Do you think?
Well, accountability is there's several ways of accountability in life, but to convict somebody of treason, I mean, treason is a huge charge. That is, a treasonous charge against the government is a massive thing. That is not an easy, thing to charge somebody with. So it takes a little more. And if it was, I just have to go with, if it was there, I can't see anybody, any of the political leaders in charge protecting him. I think they would have went after him. That's how I review that.
Yeah. Colin just made a great statement. He said we need to get a RTC resident attorney to join us on Wednesday nights to answer the legal questions like we have the doctor on Monday nights. I totally agree with that.
And not just an attorney. You need a seasoned prosecutor, because if you just bring in an attorney, they're not going to always know the right answer. There is a difference between an attorney and somebody who's actually done prosecutions.
Yeah. JB James Bullock said, unless they had a tent of some sort. I think a lot of times people are just looking. I guess that was a little commercial break. Yeah,
I'm trying to get. When the way you sent it to me in Messenger, it's on. It's difficult for me to bring it over, so I'm trying to find the video in other places.
Right. So
when you go to YouTube, you got to watch an ad.
Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of people feel like, and I don't want to speak for anybody. I just want people to answer. Just speaking on what Lorraine and Joy agreed with or felt, that a lot of times they just feel like right now, if these were people of color, like in lieu of the rioters, because we've, and Kevin, this, when the officers came out and spoke up against this, I've heard so many of our law enforcement brothers and sisters say, I don't know if they're telling the truth. It seems staged. Were they really in trouble?
I agree. Look, when the political end gets into this, it muddies the waters. In the discussion of if the race was different, it would be treated different, I will argue that completely.
Argue what?
There wouldn't be a difference. Maybe even the difference might be the opposite of what you think. There has been no other case in the history of our country that has been investigated to this full extent like this case. Zero.
But let me say this. You talk about the investigation like it changes the intent and the color of the people that did it.
No, it doesn't change color.
Let me just say this. I've heard you sit here and talk about how Black Lives Matter has destroyed property and things of that magnitude. And we've heard police destroy Black Lives Matter and talk about they've done this and done that, barbaric, savages, animals, and all that magnitude. But the same people, just a different color, did the same thing. And people are talking about, well, I don't know, and maybe, and how come, and the letter of the laws and stuff like that. Yo, a crime is a crime, no matter what.
Both sides.
I'm not saying you're arguing that.
Both sides do this. both sides, unfortunately, too many people make their decision based on their political belief first, not just the facts. Right?
I agree with that.
I don't care
Well,
what.
I'm not going to say facts. Because what I think, and this is this is always will be an elephant in the room when you and I can converse about this, is because I will see things from a person of color's eye, and you will see persons from a white eye, and the law enforcement aspect. We'll see that from if it's done against law enforcement. You know what I'm saying? And we won't agree. Sometimes we disagreed on if it's done to people of color. So I mean that's just the nature of the beast with this, and that's why we're here and we talk about stuff so we can kind of come up with a conflict and a resolution.
But
I say all that to say
the statement that I'm fighting is the statement of if they were people of color, they would be treated differently. Well, how could it be? What more could be done? Everybody's being arrested. By the hundreds, they're being arrested. The federal government is putting more into this investigation than any investigation to the history of this country.
But is that because
what would be different if they were people of color? They would put double. I don't know what, like, they're putting in everything into this and arresting people. So I don't understand how we can say if they were people of color, Lou just passed it. Well, it's just facts. No, give me the fact. Show me how it would be different. This is being investigated. People by the hundreds are being arrested. There are more arrests pending. They're still identifying people, still arresting people. Where is the break that people got in this? Because, they were white. It's not. I'm sorry.
Well, we also talked about one guy on out on what is it, probation.
Yeah,
and
so
he asked the judge, could he go to the football game in another city? You didn't think anything was wrong with that. I thought it was
you don't like it, but people are out on bail all the time and allowed to do things. And if you can show me somebody out on bail who went to that court, because we got to go to the same court, went to the court and said, I'd like to do this, and the court said no. Right? We don't know what's normal and not. You have no idea.
See, that's where I think you and I differ, because you're looking for, show me if it was done to a black person first, and then a white person got away with it, and then I'll say it's racist or it's discriminatory. We're already saying a person of color wouldn't even have the audacity to do that because we known he.
You don't know that, Bill.
No, we do know that. We know that. We know that historically. We know that.
No, you don't. You don't know that because you don't know the 100,000 black men who are out on bail and their stories. You know nothing of them. Zero.
But I know. I do know the. Wait a minute. I do know the 100,000 black men that have been black and Latin men have been incarcerated, and now DNA is showing that they didn't commit the crime.
How many?
When you use 100,000s, I use the same numbers with you. So now, don't play the number game.
We're playing the number game.
The facts, because we know that there's a lot of people of color.
Now you're changing the subject, but it's Bill.
No, you just gave me a stat about.
I did. You told me you know that black men who are on bail would be treated differently, but yet you have no case you can give me, no stat, no figure, no incident. But you just know.
Kevin, so let me ask you a question.
You declare it true in fact.
So wait a minute. So let me ask you a question. Do you not know historically that there's an injustice?
Oh, yes, 100%. I've never argued that, Bill.
So then you're just arguing it now if you're telling me that I don't know what I'm saying.
Historically, you've said that. Like, so if you want to go back 30 years and say, yeah, this I'm with you. You want to go back 50? I say it happened more. You want to go back 75? It happened a ton more. What I'm saying is today.
So you think it's fair today, and it's what
I think it's better today than it was 30 years ago.
Better is not
right, but you're still saying that no matter what color would change it.
But wait a minute.
And the answer of because we know better, because we do, because it's not.
Okay, but because you
could be right, Bill, and it could be worse than you and I think. Honestly, like if we actually,
I already think it. You don't think it. I already think it. You don't think it. But that's what I'm trying to find out. Why don't you think it? Because you can sit here and say that you let me finish.
Yeah.
If you can sit here and tell me that you know historically it's bad, why do you think it's not still bad? What proof do you have that it's better?
The fact that they're arresting every single one of these guys shows me it's better.
But
the fact that
Kevin, How many times you can arrest
The
somebody
fact that
and nobody do no time?
we're convicting white cops. The fact that we're convicting white guys in the South for the Aubrey murder, right? 50 years ago, they never would have been convicted.
Right.
Clearly. So that's what's telling me it's better. That there is better.
So better means that it's equal. Yeah.
No.
Okay, and that's
not perfect, Bill. But I don't know how the scale used to be this unequal.
Right.
I don't know where we're at. Is it this unequal?
Not
unequal?
Not even.
I don't know. And it's hard to measure. It's hard to measure.
No, not even. It's only hard to measure for people that don't see it. It's not hard to measure the people that still experience it, because you can't take let me tell you something. If you don't like onions, you don't like onions. I don't care how you cook it, saute it, and simmer it. You're not going to like onions. So the bottom line, let me finish. If racism is racism, no matter how you dress it up, there are countless videos now. Let me tell you something. People of color have said for years, before there was cameras and videos, that certain situations happened, right? They're about to do a documentary. It's coming on TV, something you should watch too. I don't know if you know about Emmett Till, right? Mm-hmm. That's 1955.
Yeah.
That's 10 years before I was born, right? That is not too far long ago that a man that didn't have a speech impediment and he was whistling, and a white woman thought he was whistling at her, and they went and destroyed this young man, right?
Yep.
Listen, people are still being judged. Yusef Hawkins was in Howard Beach.
Yeah.
Right? So racism is still here, and it's popping, and it's still in the South. Listen, we got to argue about a Confederate flag. Hold on, Kev. Hold on. We got to argue about a Confederate flag, right? We are just starting to see the tip of the iceberg when we saw officers. George Floyd. Look how long that trial, right?
Yeah.
That should have been 2 minutes, right?
No, it shouldn't have.
Why not?
What trial should be 2 minutes, Bill?
Now you're making it. That to me. You're talking. You see.
The justice system's got to. He was prosecuted. He was arrested quickly, prosecuted, and convicted, and you can't complain about that one. I'm sorry,
Kevin. The whole world saw him commit murder.
So what? It's still the process.
So what?
You want to change the process of
what process do I want to change?
He was arrested quickly. It went through the series of there's motions, there's discovery, there's turnover, and eventually it was a trial. He's convicted. If he's convicted you're going to complain about it? He should have been convicted 6 months earlier. That's to me. Now we're grasping at straws.
No, so Kevin, listen. We've seen the justice system not work. Amadi Diallo, right?
Again, you bring up something else. You just told me.
We're talking about. No, I'm showing you points.
Yeah.
Why people
you're bouncing.
I'm not bouncing. When you bounce, you talked about a riot. You talked about we talked about burglary. So is it fair that you bounce and I can't bounce? Is that how we doing this?
Just tonight.
Oh, okay.
Get up with once,
all right. So everybody, you see, Kevin is trying to get under the skin tonight. That's all. He's feeling good for the new year. Yeah. So the bottom line is, what we're trying to see is that we've gotten what 3. I mean, I don't even know how many officers. And if you want to use the word officers, I wasn't going to try to stay on them per se, but the bottom line is when we talk about officers doing something to people of color. We've only seen really 3 of them get away. I mean, 3 of them go to jail, right? Sean Bell their officers didn't go to jail. Diallo didn't go to jail. Volpe went to jail when he stuck the plunger up.
I'm not arguing that.
Well, how could you?
But the statement you made was you were getting angry that Floyd didn't go faster.
I wasn't getting angry.
You were upset and not angry. You made a comment that it should have happened faster, and that's to me is just silly. Like it's grasping. He was arrested quickly.
When I said it should have happened faster, I'm talking about the faster. There shouldn't have been no certain amount of hours of deliberation. That's when I said faster.
Oh, but what is that? But that's. I actually think that's better in life. If you have a 10-minute deliberation,
that means you know the person is guilty. Period. No matter who it is. No matter who it is.
But again, you're grasping at straws. The amount of time.
I'm not grasping at nothing. I know what I'm saying.
If you're going to complain about So
I'm not complaining. I'm just making a statement. You playing word games. You can't play with me. You ain't that good.
Critiquing.
You ain't that good to play word games with me.
Oh,
you ain't older and smarter.
You're critiquing. You are complaining. You're playing that it should have been quicker.
I'm not complaining. I'm making a statement. I'm telling you facts.
That's
not complaining.
It's not a fact. That's an opinion.
No. I can tell you the point in case of what had happened. Yeah. If I tell you a fact, you tell me stats. I tell you facts.
All right, but
I'm telling you what actually has happened in the past. I can only tell you what has happened in the past, which makes it a fact.
He committed murder. He was convicted of murder. I think to me that again goes to progress, not something we should look at and go. It should have. They should have came back quicker. They should have been. Nah, that's
from your eyes to black people's ears.
Okay.
Right, from your mouth to black people's ears. Because let me tell you something. That shit you talking, that ain't flying with people of color. Because the bottom line is you talking about a judicial system that has not worked for people of color. And now that we get one or two, like black people and Latin people were so happy that OJ got off. And we were working together at that time.
Yeah. That's what started our conversation.
Y'all were asking why y'all so happy. Because it was almost like we finally got one back.
Yeah.
Right?
And I got it.
They still caught him in the end, right? They still caught him in the end. But the bottom line is this is what people will feel. See, you can't talk about the judicial system being fair when it's never been fair to people of color. So the fact that it is, it's almost like we get a bone. Just like even with Kim Potter. You didn't think she was supposed to go to jail, right?
No, I still don't.
Yeah. Well, you see, thank God you ain't in the jury.
Yeah.
How about that? You know what I'm saying? Thank God you wasn't on the jury because you might have been a hung jury messing with your ass.
Yeah.
Everybody, this is Real Talk Chronicles. I'm your host, Bill Forster, with my co-host, Kevin Branzetti, and we're talking about the insurrection that happened a year ago tomorrow, which is on my birthday, which will go down in history. Hey, Kathleen, all the best, kindness of luck, respect, and love for the conversation. Absolutely, Kathleen. This is what we do. You know, it's about conversing, trying to be better people, trying to understand one person's plight, understand another person's, path. Like I always laugh, and we played it, and I totally agree. Kevin doesn't like the Turks for some reason, but the guy said something that was so true that time. Is that, we hear a lot of times white people call people of color savages and animals and stuff like that, and they talk about us burning, not me, because I wouldn't do that. Burning down properties during certain situations. But if you go back years in history, those were white people that was doing that. And they kidnapped people, hung them, raped them, slaughtered them, burned down churches, places of worship, burned people, all kinds of did the most savage, barbaric things. Wait a minute, let me finish.
There isn't a race alive that hasn't done that.
Oh, now it's not a race alive that hasn't done that. When have black people done that to white people?
When have black people done that to black people?
No.
Civilization. I said there wasn't a race alive.
Now you're talking about black on black crime. We can talk about that. But what I'm asking you about, I'm talking about how white people call black people and Latin people animals and slaves, savages. And they were the one that taught us how to be barbaric. That's all I said. I didn't say that black people don't commit crime on black people.
I'm talking about through the history of the world. Like one civilization has done it. Everybody's done it to their neighbor. Everybody's done it.
But I've just asked you, tell me in history, when black people have done that to white people. That's all I've asked you.
In this country?
Yes.
No.
So why would you say that?
I'm not. Huh?
You just said they did it. So I'm asking you.
I'm talking the history of the world, my friend. I'm talking about the history of the world that every nation, every group has done something savage to another. Yeah,
but I'm asking you, have black people done that to white people?
No.
So why would so you're just talking
in the US? No, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I got you.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, it's a different thing, Bo. Sorry.
Okay, all right. So let me just read some of the comments. Paula said,
I'm sure they were all just saying Happy New Year, Kevin. We miss you.
Well, I guess they really miss you now. James Baker said, a privileged perspective, Kev. Miss Taylor, what's on, sis? How are you? She said, all those present in the precinct with volleyball should have been arrested and charged. They knew that something went wrong in the bathroom and they did nothing wrong. I remember that. Only because the video, James said, only because the video showed how the. Let me see, where am I at? Oh, excuse me. Apologize. I lost my Scott. Hold on. Ah. Miss Taylor said, I lost it. I got to go back to the other screen. Sorry, everybody. Miss Taylor said, yeah, white people fail to acknowledge that rioting and burning down property is learned behavior. For example, Tulsa, Oklahoma, Rosewood, Florida, and countless other cities were destroyed by whites. That's what I was trying to explain to him, sis. But he, Kevin tries to get a little flip with it. Shout out to Monique in the park, Monique Parker in the building. What's going on, sis? Long time no see. Let's see what else we have here going on. It's good to see my martial arts sister Kathleen Levine in the building. Only because the video showed. Everybody, how much time? Joy asked about how much time do people get. Lewis says, so what to live to murder? Also, Darren said Kevin will never get it because he lives in the ivory tower, so he cannot get it. Oh, okay now. Oh yeah.
We each have our own prejudicial eyes.
Yes, we do.
That's part of the whole why we're sitting here talking.
Right.
Because we all do have a prejudicial eyes.
So Kev, let me ask you a question, and that's an excellent thing that you just said. If we have our prejudicial eyes, because I don't think you call yourself a liberal by no means, right? How would you deem yourself, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm a fiscal conservative and a social, I'd say, liberal.
Okay, all right. Because we've had the sidebar discussions when it comes to family and other things that you have a liberal take on things.
Yeah, everybody live and let live.
Yeah, exactly, and that's what I'm trying to say. Like that's a whole nother private conversation, and we'll discuss that another time whenever we do. And that's when we discussed that thing, you threw me for a loop. It was such a liberal take that you said, but when it comes to law enforcement, I think, and I'm going to say I feel, because I don't want you to say factual yet, that I feel that you can't see past the blue when it comes to people of color. You kind of get like you said, you have your prejudicial eyes that
I do.
Yes,
as everybody in the audience does.
Well, they're talking it from, I guess, a place of color. Historically, we can only talk about what has happened to us.
And my prejudicial eyes are from being a cop, and Bill and I didn't do those things, and I didn't work with people who did those things. So like I have my own vision and sight on things. So it's sometimes it is hard to comprehend things. I accept there are bad out there, and I agree there is clearly racism out there. There's no question, and we're not equal, right? I get that. I told you the level. We're better today than we were 30 years. We're better than we were 60 and 100, right? That's clear. We're not there. What's complete and what's there and how long? I don't know.
So let me ask you a question. Then let me just flip it. How do you feel? What do you think? Same question, maybe. When you see an officer get prosecuted now.
Yeah, look, it's always going to bother me. I am blue through and through. Right, I've said that many a times. I can't stand bad police work. I can't stand lazy cops. I can't stand any cop that makes the rest of us look bad. Don't like them. And seeing a cop commit murder is painful. I don't. It's painful. I don't. Is it like watching knowing your family member committed a crime? It's a hard thing to swallow, but it's true, right? I've never denied Floyd was murdered, not from day one. Other ones we'll sit and we'll have different discussions on, but it's something. I can't believe one of us did it.
Why? Why?
Because I know who I am. I know who you are. I know the cops that I work with, who they are. So the honor that we had is how I see us. So it's shocking when you see somebody do it. And I said, sort of similar to seeing your family member. If your cousin, you saw your cousin on video killing somebody, you'd be like, I can't believe he did that, because you knew him. It's a hard one to accept, but it's crystal clear they did, and you have to accept.
Everybody, this is Real Talk Chronicles. I'm your host, Bill Forster, with my co-host, Kevin Branzetti. And we've starting off the new year right and hot and heavy. Norm, what's up, brother? Norm say, I can talk from blue side and black side. Kevin, have you ever used an ethnic slur? James said, but we know wrongdoing when we see it, and good officers like yourself should be outraged by the behavior.
I'm laughing at Darren's.
Yeah, he said it depends on which cousin. Absolutely. Hey, Sharon, what's going on? Lisa Shane is in the building. How are you, Sharon?
And I am outraged when a cop does something bad, because that cop does something bad. It hurts 800,000 cops, right? New York City, because of the murder of George Floyd, New York City cops got hurt. Buildings got torched here. Other people, civilians got hurt because of that cop, right? Chauvin caused the death of more than Floyd. He's actually responsible for the death of, I'll argue, hundreds across this country. Right?
So are you? So you're outraged with Chauvin or
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let me ask you a question. Why don't you have the same empathy for people of color as you do for the officers in blue that you don't even know? Because you don't know the people of color, because you just said about how officers are viewed and engaged. Listen, I can't, Kevin, you and I could drive down the street tonight and get pulled over by an officer, and he may not give a damn about us and talk to us crazy, and we're retired.
Yeah.
Because
I've had some bad experiences getting pulled over. Yeah.
Right. So this blue wall, this is that has me baffled. I see people like yourself will defend blue till they're blue in the face, and then go out and still get disrespected by somebody blue and be like, well, he's just one. But, the bottom line is maybe he's having a bad day. Like, you justify asinine assholes, not, and you just pacify where I know that he's just a dick. Excuse my French, everybody. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And the bottom line is because
one, I never blame the whole.
I'm not blaming the whole either. But the bottom line is,
and I have lots.
People blame the whole when they say Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
People
they do 100%. And people blame the whole when they talk about police. People do this on every side. They blame the whole.
But police have the power that Black Lives Matter don't have.
Yeah.
So it's still fighting upstream. You're still swimming upstream.
Yeah.
People of color we're still, and then, it's almost like I see people all the time. I've seen it in groups and arguments, and I'll ask them. I say, well, why do you take the side of the officer? Well, because he's blue. What the fuck does that have to do with right and wrong? Like, and they'll justify a blue person in Mississippi somewhere, and I'm just using Mississippi. No disrespect to anybody from Mississippi that's watching. But you'll defend a person from Mississippi, and they'll know who he is, and then come to find out he might be part of the KKK, and you still don't even retract. Not you. Some people don't even retract their statement and say, "Oh wow, I didn't know he was that."
Yeah.
Listen, a lot of people, officers justify, "Oh, he's just one out of many," but then we come to see a lot of many in one color.
Yeah, Bill. So the difference with some of this is with the cops for me. I'm still one law enforcement. I work with and train cops all over the country all year long. I meet cops by the hundreds. So I get to see people who are doing just spectacular work, who are going out there doing the right thing the right way. So that's what I see a lot of, right? That's what I meet. I just sat today with a couple of, really good detectives from Brooklyn, working on some things with them on some cases. So my experience of having a bad incident where the cop will pull me over, or over the years having a bad cop I've worked with, right? Having a bad boss who's just a horrible human being. Right? We've all worked with, some horrible ones. Those few handful compared to the hundreds, no, thousands of cops I've met. I've literally met thousands in my career that are just good people. So I've met so many.
But let me ask you a question, Kev. Hold on. How do you know they're good people?
Well, when you meet somebody and you talk to them and you work,
and you have a beer and you have a beer or something like that.
No, I'm talking working on cases. Look, could they, Bill? A lot of our friends, behind closed doors, can be, evil.
And Kevin, stay with me right there. That's my point. How many people, like I'm saying, that I've worked with right now, can't stand the shit that I'm saying, but they won't say it to my face. They'll say it to somebody else. They won't say it to my face. How many of us we work? Listen, I've stopped speaking to people over political views. And they've said so many of the most asinine things. I've seen people that I've worked with say some of the most racist, vile things when it comes to people of color and Black Lives Matter. And you know what I have to say to them if they're listening? And I'll say it in their face, any place, because I can start this year off right too, right? I can say, how can you work with a person of color and talk about the same skin tone of that person, and not worry about how it affects that person that you work with? You understand what I'm trying to say? See, so, that's the real elephant in the room, and that's when you show that your privileges are to another level. I'm not saying you, but you and I know there are certain people, right, that will just say the craziest stuff.
Yep.
Listen, and I'll say a lot of times, I know a lot of white officers, not some, not all, say some, but not all, that if there wasn't, when they got this job, if it wasn't, they was working in Carvel and McDonald's and still living with their mama and daddy when they got this job, right? And the bottom line is, they come on this job, they've heard the stories, they and depending on who you talk to, and let me tell you something, there is no truer statement than you're taught racism.
Yeah.
There's no truer statement. People are taught racism. So the ideology that people have when they speak in these chat groups that we're affiliated with, this certain mentality, it is all taught.
100%, Bill. One of the best movies out there was American History X. And
absolutely.
When they do, they flash back to the father at the kitchen table.
Yes.
And you're like,
absolutely.
We talked a little bit about this. In my household, these things didn't exist. Right? Like my father didn't speak like that. He did not, I never heard an ethnic slur in my home. Was not used. Still to this day, not used.
So let me read you a statement by Ms. Taylor. She said, if we are so much better, why are they constantly finding Black men that have spent 2 to 3 and 4 decades in prison for wrongful convictions? Some of these convictions were due to all white juries. 20, 30, or 40 years ago, it's not history. This is occurring in all of our lifetimes.
Yeah. Yes, it happens, and it's happened. And I'm glad we're going back and rerunning DNA on things and checking things. There aren't as many as you. I'm going to pull you the stats on how many overturns there are. They're not as many.
Kevin, let me just say this. You can go to the stats on this, but one is too many.
One is 100% too many, Bill.
So you pulling the stats?
I'm glad we're doing it, but we're still going to things that were 30 years ago that happened, and 30 years ago.
Just recently, people.
The convictions are 30 years ago. The overturn is today.
How terrible is that? That's even
it's beyond horrible. Cheryl threw in there about my question before. How do I know they're good people? It's not just cops. I'm like that with everybody. You're a good person till you show me otherwise. That's just kind of my right? Like, it's not just cops. It's not because I work with cops. I'm like that with people. I don't look at people going, well, they're this, they're bad, they're this, they're bad. You're good until you show me otherwise.
And I think we come in with this with the being skeptical, already knowing there's a mentality, and you can't blame us for feeling a certain way. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? This is how we feel. This is what's
Yeah.
going on, and we like historically, we know that people have gotten away with murder, literally, figuratively, and even to points where people of color are still trying. It has to take people of color to be better in certain things than our counterparts. To sometimes unfair to a person, and I'll make you the scapegoat. You unfair to you because maybe you may just come in here and have I just want to make the world a better place and I just want to do my job and go home. But the bottom line is you're gonna gravitate because the bottom line is Kevin Branzetti is not sitting up in the locker room telling white people you're wrong and you're a piece of shit for doing that to a black guy. You're not doing it. You never did it, and I'm not saying you would do it. So if you haven't done it and you wouldn't do it, it ain't happening, right? So the bottom line is you may turn a blind eye. You may not work with that person. You may not want to go out and have lunch with that person. You may dislike that person, but you're not stepping up to that person and turning them in. You haven't done it. You wouldn't do it because we know we've worked with some racist people, and there's one in my like that. Like I beg of him sometimes to push that button for me. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm intrigued in the green room who that is.
Oh no, I'll tell you. Yo,
green room.
He threw his gun in the toll booth in the turnstile at the going across the bridge.
Oh yeah. All right.
Yo, he's a piece of,
that can only be one man in that might be only one man in the history of the police department.
Listen, we've seen each other at funerals, and he act like he don't want to speak. And if it wasn't certain places, George Wiley, that's the other thing. Wiley, he's a piece of shit, and I'll say it in his face. And if anybody listening, tell him I said it because he's not going to do anything to me, but get beat up. You know what I'm saying? So it's not going to happen. And I don't even want to start off with him. But you know what's so funny? I know that was a racist person that worked with us. He wasn't my partner, so it's all good. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So and the one thing about having real talk, people, and that's what I'm saying. People don't call out. I've never seen him do anything to anybody, but I know if you can, and Kevin, you know this, when you can't even work with, when you can't even want to speak to your coworkers, what does that tell you? You got coworkers that walk down a hall and won't even speak to you. Why is that? You understand what I'm saying? How did you even get on this job? Now, if you ain't even going to speak to a black or a Latin coworker, how do I think you're going to treat a person of color that doesn't have the same title as you fairly? Right?
All right. You know what stats I found, Bill?
Okay. What stats did you find?
The exonerations.
Exonerations? Okay, please share. Shout out to everybody that's chiming in. I see you, Gina. I see you, Lamont. What's going on, brother? Teresa, how are you? Sharon Saunders is in the building. Norm, I'll sidebar you. Allison is doing much better. She's definitely doing better. Also, too, let me just say, everybody, this show is sponsored by two things tonight. One, I got to go with my wife first. Soft Illusions Art Gallery, right?
We have to work on your commercials.
Calendar, and you can share it. Look at all the beautiful colors. This is our public service announcement, right, sweetheart? She's right behind me, so exactly. And then two, The Deadly Art of Survival magazine, right? It's on Amazon, and yours truly, little old me, is in the magazine. Right? So, yes, I'm a martial artist. If you didn't know that, I've been doing it for 30 some odd years or longer. So, with that being said, we are saying a lot. Kevin has some stats that he wants to show. We will pull them up. Let's enhance
So
these stats.
this is University of Michigan EDU National Registry of Exonerations. Since '89, they have 2,900 and change. All right, 2930, and they list every single one of them. So you can break it down by race, by everybody. I don't know at this point how you have somebody who fits in it. I don't know, but okay.
Right.
I'm intrigued.
Now these are people that have been exonerated from crimes.
This is So since '89, just under 3,000.
Okay.
1,400.
Now, these are the people that have been exonerated. These aren't the people that don't know how to fight their cases, that are not justifying their time in jail. And wait, I'm just making a statement. These are not the people that should be, instead of shanking somebody or fighting or joining some clique, they should be reading the book, learning the law and fighting their cases. Because I know some people that were doing 20 some years and they became layman lawyers and learned and got an education, and they got out of jail. Notorious drug dealers. Know them personally. So there are people that have just had people that just kept fighting for them. So this is 3,000 that you just found. Go ahead.
Clearly there's more, Bill. There's no question there's more. Okay. Like that's an unarguable statement. All I can give you is, and pulling it off of some university's site, that makes it to me a little more believable on the numbers. All right. I would think they're not trying to bias this. So 1,460 were black.
Out of 3,000?
Out of just under 3,000.
And how many? 1,400 were black?
1,460 were black. Let's go to white. Just takes a moment for it to. $1,035 are white.
So white people get treated unfairly too. Ain't that some shit?
Yeah.
You know what I'm
saying? We look. A lot of prosecutors at this point, life officers, put money into.
Let me answer some questions right now. Hold on, Kevin. Hold on, Seth. Malika, Eunice said she needs 2 calendars, and Sharon Casio said she wants to know how to purchase a calendar. So Malika's going to put that in the link, right, sweetie?
I'm sorry.
Oh, 2 people want to know how to get 2 people want to know how to get calendars. So
okay, I'll put the link.
Malika's going to put the link in there. Joyce said, "Nice teller. Can I purchase a couple?" Yes, you can, Joyce. Michelle Ivory, what's going on? It's close. Who was the lowest? Go ahead, Kevin. Say the stats again. I'm sorry, people I think are inquiring about the stats that you just said. I'm sorry. 3,000.
It's just under 3,000 for the total, and nearly half for black. Actually, very close. I would say it's 50% of black. If you want to, I mean, it's really like a hair off of 50%. Because it's 1,460 right there.
So let me ask you a question. Are you trying to say that it's just fair? It's equal?
No, I'm just saying that it happens to everybody. If you want to pull fair, it's equal, then we have to go to a whole bunch of things, Bill. Right? What's the percentage of incarceration? Right? Like how many are in jail from each race, and then you got to look at what percentage were then overturned. If you want to get right, I guess that's how you'd have to do it.
Okay, I mean,
is it?
I mean, listen. There's no way in hell you can hit me with facts. You can hit me with stats. There's no way in hell do I think that they're white.
Do I think there are more wrongfully convicted black men than white men? Yes.
Okay.
And again,
black and Latins, people of color. Let's just put people of color. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You know, and I think you're anybody who thinks differently is
delusional.
Yeah.
Everybody, this is Real Talk Chronicles. I'm your host, Bill Forster, with my co-host, Kevin Branzetti. And there's another topic I want to talk to as Kevin looks at the stats before we get out of this topic.
Did you see this thing, Bill, with George Floyd's niece, the 4-year-old, got shot?
No, I didn't see that. Mm-mm.
Yeah, his 4-year-old niece was just shot.
Wow. Where was this at?
You
can play it if you want to. Go
Houston.
ahead. Is it something you can play?
After being shot during a drive-by on New Year's Day at the Park Yellowstone Apartments, right near 288 and Yellowstone Boulevard. But there's a lot of questions about how that night was handled. Fox 26's Matthew Seedorf lied outside the Texas Medical Center where she is still recovering. Matthew, first question, of course, have you heard how she's doing?
Yeah, Caitlin, we're told that she's doing okay and she should survive just fine, but her family didn't want to speak with us on camera, and like so many people, they're wondering why this happened. George Floyd's family sharing these pictures Tuesday of his niece, 4-year-old Ariana, now hospitalized with a gunshot wound. This photo taken at a Houston hospital after her surgery. The young girl reportedly recovering from broken ribs, a punctured lung, and liver. The outside of her family's apartment near Highway 288 in Yellowstone covered with several bullet holes. Early New Year's morning, Houston police say someone shot aimlessly into the apartment, striking the 4-year-old girl. Family members have expressed their concerns as to how long it took emergency crews to respond to this shooting. They claim after roughly 3 hours, they took Ariana to the hospital themselves. Houston Police Chief Troy Finner now calling for an internal affairs investigation into the delayed response time, also asking the city to pray for the child's full recovery. And tonight, so far, no arrests have been made. If you have any information, call Houston Police. Reporting live outside the Texas Medical Center tonight, Matthew Seedorf, Fox 26 News.
You know, when you think you have problems with you and your family, right? Like bad things happening.
Yeah.
I mean, it's...
Listen, we talk about crime and stuff like that. What do you think, Stefania? You sent me something. I'll open it up. Send me something, or send me a hello so it can pop up on the screen again, so I can.
This one.
What is this? Oh,
this was the Baltimore. I think it's what you sent me in Messenger.
Oh, let me see it, please. I haven't seen it.
Morning, where 2 suspects entered the store and started a robbery. And our city watch operators immediately saw this happening and dispatched officers to the area. Officers were at the location within a minute of this incident occurring. So I have a video that I'm going to show, we're going to get to, and I'm going to have to stop it at points in order to explain some of what's going on. So as you're prepared to go into that, or just keep in mind that I'm going to have to stop. So this is the video, this is the intersection, and this is the City Watch camera. These are the 2 suspects. Again, for brevity's sake, this is after they have walked down the street and kind of cased the place, basically, looking in. This is a pretty main intersection and a pretty well-lit store that they were planning this robbery at. All right, so you'll see the 2 suspects walking around, and then they're going to enter the business and you'll see the camera zoom in a bit. So they enter and pretty much immediately pull out their guns, and you can kind of see that at this point, the City Watch operators zoomed in. It was 2 City Watch operators working on this particular incident last night. They immediately dispatched the call to our officers, who immediately started to respond to the area. There were 2 employees working in the 7-Eleven at the time of this. And again, to underline the level of stupidity, it's a convenience store overnight that doesn't have a lot of money. So we're not even talking about $100 or so. So I'll keep this video going for now. Again, this is the robbery in progress. You will see right on the 7-Eleven sign in just a few short moments, the lights flashing from the police officer who is the first arriving officer to the scene. The first arriving officer is going to walk up to the business as other officers arrive, and there you can see the lights flashing on the 7-Eleven sign there. That's the reflection from the lights on the police car. Now, again, this 7-Eleven has at least 2 exits, one here and an emergency exit on the left side of this screen here, where the suspects were going to try to get out of. They fired shots inside of the 7-Eleven. We believe that was an attempt to distract officers, which they did, bringing them to the rear, where they attempted to get out of this rear door here. And again, officers are arriving as we speak, as this is an ongoing situation. So they know they have an armed suspect as they're getting that information from City Watch. Right here, boom. Several shots fired between the officers and the suspects right in the doorway. And here it is again. And you can see the suspect has his gun aimed at 3 police officers, who we are fortunate that none of them were shot.
Hi, I'm Nicole Hockley from San.
Wow. So I don't know the gist of that story. What did they try? What did the officers do? Did the officers do something wrong? Because the bottom line is, everybody, if you didn't just see, this is a tough ass job. It really is. I mean, you know, you walk into the line of fire knowingly and unknowingly sometimes. Listen, you got to put man, woman, you got to put on your big boy and big girl panties when you play this job. And some people are not cut out for it. And you know, we can talk about the elephant in the room race a lot of times, but Bullet has really, it doesn't have any gender, you know what I'm saying, or ethnicity that it tries to kill. It kills whoever shot it. What's up, Wayne Gore? I see you in the building. Oh, they got away too? No, the officers did nothing wrong. Exactly. Eunice said, thank you for the link. You know, it's crazy. I don't know, Kevin, if you've ever been shot at. I've been shot at working.
Not working before I was a cop.
Oh, well, I didn't want to tell you about that personal side of my life.
Yeah, it's another story. Green room story.
Yeah, but yeah, that part of my life too. I've been in some hairy situations. I'm not a cat, but I can understand when they say a cat has 9 lives. Okay, Stefania sent me this topic on Eric Adams. It says Eric Adams says cooks, dishwashers don't have academic skills to sit in a corner office. Let me see if I could pull this up right now and see. I don't know what he's. Let me see if they play it. Can you play it, Kevin?
Yeah.
You got it? Everybody, this is
Is it
Real
a
Talk.
video as well?
Excuse me, I don't know if it's a video. It might be. Let's see. Everybody, this is Real Talk Chronicles. I'm the host, Bill Forster, and my co-host, Kevin Branzetti. And before we get out of here, the last topic I want to discuss tonight is, what do you feel? I think they're trying to mandate a law where if you're in corrections, and I would love for my correction officer people to chime in on this, that some people should not be in solitary confinement. Listen. We're going to get on that topic, but going to jail for a heinous crime. What? Let's go to this thing and see what this thing said before I say.
I'm still waiting for it to.
Oh yeah,
to load. 2G at its best.
Absolutely. So that's the last topic I wanted to have before we get out of here tonight. I want to know, what do you guys think, ladies and gentlemen, in regards to individuals not being put in solitary confinement, even though they're incarcerated, and some people feel that they should have certain kinds of liberties and things. Now, if you're in there for violating, and I saw you, Eddie B, on YouTube. I saw your comments. I didn't mean to feel, once you feel like I didn't see you. What are your thoughts, everybody? You know, do I think a person in there for a certain kind of crime should not be in solitary confinement? Absolutely. But do you really want a serial killer to go to jail and feel like he can go play basketball and work out a great part of the day?
Or somebody who's already in jail and then slashed another inmate, slashed a guard. What are you going to do with them?
Yeah.
Right? You know, you have to have a system where there's, repercussions. And it is the jail's job to protect the other inmates.
Mm-hmm.
So you let a guy go who's already slashed one, stabbed another, and you let him still go out in general population with everybody, and they do it to another person. We're not doing our job as the government, or
and this is where I definitely shout out to my man Dwayne Montgomery in the building. Dwayne, we're gonna get you back on the show one day, in the near future, whenever you're ready. Yo, Bullock too, JB, you ready? And any of my law enforcement brothers or sisters, always white, black, Spanish, anybody, Latin brothers, sisters, you're always welcome. I invite you on because I want to understand your side, your eyes. And, don't come over here if you done kissed a lot of tail on the job and talk about you did something. Because if we work together, I'll blow your ass up. You know what I'm saying? Because I can't, listen, if you know me, the show is called Real Talk. I can't do phony on here. Kevin's here because I know who he is. You understand what I'm trying to say? Even though sometimes he says some of the craziest shit. Now, at least he may not say no KKK, but he may say a K and K and a little thing shit.
Oh, that ain't right. It's not flag worthy yet, but
no, exactly, not yet. Exactly. You know what I'm saying?
I got the Adams video finally buffered and it's up.
All right, let's see what's going on.
Four months of not having this business patronized, not having a restaurant patronized, not having business travelers come here to the city to go to our hotels, that is going to be devastating for our economy. And I don't know if my businesses are sharing with their employees. You are part of the ecosystem of this city. My low-skilled workers, my cooks, my dishwashers, my messengers, my shoe shine people, those who work in Dunkin' Donuts, they don't have the academic skills to sit in a corner office. They need this. We are in this together.
Okay. Now I'll take the lead on this, Kev. I don't have a problem with him, what he just said, because he's calling a spade a spade. If I guess what he's trying to say, if you wouldn't be working in Dunkin' Donuts or shining shoes, if you had the academic skills to be in a corporate America. He's not trying to. I don't think he's belittling anybody. And then let's all get back to this. Let's stop with this cancel culture situation. And I'm not Stefania. I'm not saying you said that. I'm not talking directly at you at all. I'm not talking at you at all with this. I just think some people need to get off the shit, because the bottom line is people have said worse. Especially for people of color. You didn't like Dinkins because you felt he was soft. You thought Obama was soft. Now Eric is in there kind of grabbing his crotch, saying what he feels and saying what it is and saying what a lot of you are thinking. And some people are like, oh, I can't believe he said that. Listen. I tell people all the time when I was training people in martial arts and self-defense, and I had people come to me and say, well, can you teach me some stuff, but I don't want to be hit. Then you don't want to learn how to fight. Because the best part of being in a fight is knowing what it's like to be hit. You understand what I'm trying to say? And that's what you call good. And let me tell you something, martial arts, self-defense, any kind of sports, even chess, checkers, sometimes you have to learn good defense. Even with pool, any pool player out there, sometimes you got to block a pocket, so the person won't be able to go in that pocket and make his shot harder to go down the table. So everything is about defense. And the thing is, right now, this man is out here speaking the truth on certain things. He didn't say only people of color, only white people, only black people. He's saying certain times to shoot shot. Listen, I've been in meetings and I've heard the person with the college degree, the master's, use the word conversate. And I'm like, oh, okay. Now, you have said that in front of a bunch of people of power and you used the wrong word. But does it mean they don't deserve to be in that meeting? So now let's talk about that. A college degree does not make for a smart person. It just means that you stayed in school longer. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't make you smarter, because let me tell you something. I can have a college degree and talk and go into a mechanic store that a person that doesn't even have a high school diploma, and he'll run circles around me because I would not know anything about what he's doing. It depends on the field. I'll let you take over after that, Kevin.
He didn't say anything wrong.
Right.
There's a part of society, anything you say publicly, somebody's going to tear you down. They're going to find something that, somewhere could possibly almost was offensive, and they're just going to take it and tear you down. And it hits that point where for people, it's hard to talk. It's hard to be out there in the public because you're going to hit that. It was nothing offensive. There are people who have, different jobs and different skill sets and different things, and they need business. They need people in the city to work, to survive.
Yeah.
Do I think at the moment my opinion on COVID is it's peaks and valleys, and we're in a peak right now, and you should lay low for a little bit. And when we hit back into a valley, get out and have a good time.
Wow. Oh, we got some good stuff in here. Mark says, should officers be 23 and 1? Child molesters, I guess it all depends. Ms. Taylor said, an individual that has the pertinent of violence against COs or other inmates, yes, they should be put in solitary. An individual like a Khalif Brower, no, they shouldn't be subject to solitary confinement. I forgot who that is. Isn't
that the kid with the steel in the backpack? Was that the kid who committed suicide?
Yes, I think so. Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. He should not be in solitary confinement.
No. And maybe what we need is, look, solitary is a tough thing. And does it hurt somebody mentally over the years? Yeah.
Of course.
So we need to be a little more diligent in how we do it, and monitoring it and report on it, and the amount of time somebody's in it. And And then the goal should be to get them back out of solitary eventually.
And now this is
You
what
start off
Colin,
with a smaller group and see how they act, and if they act well, you let them.
now, Colin said something. Hold on, Kevin. Colin said they should definitely get rid of solitary confinement. If you're keeping solitary confinement, it shouldn't be in a 2x2 room. Is that something that which you're agreeing? Okay, well, maybe I can put you in solitary confinement. But Colin, let me ask you a question. Somebody kills multiple people knowingly. When I'm talking about knowingly, we all agree that this person who just like goes into church
well, Chauvin's got to go into solitary. As an
but he's going into solitary because
but
he's going into protected custody because he's law enforcement.
Yeah.
They couldn't put him in general population.
No, but there's there are people for different reasons. So I'm just giving the other side of it. While there's another reason.
No, he's going into protective. He's going into is it solitary confinement or is
it's
he
protective
going
custody? But I wonder. So any COs out there, is protective custody solitary? What is the difference? I don't.
Right, because like a lot of times they used to put like different people in certain positions, like not solitary confinement. What's the word? Some of my CO people. What is it? They put like police officers or rappers or stuff like that. Like they put them in. I forgot what the terminology is. But Colin, what do you say for somebody that's committed such heinous crimes like Charles Manson or somebody or anybody that's killed multiple people knowingly and recklessly? That do we put him in a room with a bed and TV and call that solitary confinement? That this person has just killed people, or do we put him in a place where he has to atone for his sins? I mean, we're not Jesus, and I'm not either. But let me tell you something. If I put a person, if we coddle a person that's committed heinous crimes and we give him HBO TV, and correction officers are in here, they could tell you some people in jail live better than the people outside. They got 3 hots in a cot and they got cable TV, right? I don't. Is it first? Jail is not about rehabilitation. Anybody that thinks that is delusional. You know what I'm saying? It's not. So there's so many different variables to that. Now, Eunice says some may need to be in solitary confinement. Dwayne said he's talking about Eric Adams. He said he also was saying that corporate America can work from home, but some professions can't. They took him out of content. Absolutely. Ms. Taylor said the statement by Eric is condescending. A person has to start somewhere. Maybe they're working their way through college. Never doubt someone's intellectual capabilities. I totally agree with that. I just feel that I totally agree with you, Dwayne. Taylor, I feel that I don't know. Is he saying that they're not smart enough, or is he saying that they have to work? We have to open up businesses because that's the way they make their money. I don't know. I only got a snippet of that piece. So that's what I'm gonna take from Stefania said. I actually understand exactly what he means, but the wording set off a lot of people. So now they're bashing him. Stefania, I honestly feel that Eric is going to walk with the bullseye on his back. I think he is probably one of the
politician doesn't.
What politician doesn't? But listen.
Some bring it to themselves more. He's not bringing it to himself.
But I'm just saying, too, a person of color as a politician will always bring it, like I said, Kevin, I remember when Dinkins tried to make this the melting pot for all the people, and when the police turned their backs on him, when he went up into Washington Heights and consoled the parents of the person that I think got shot on the roof or fell off the roof, and officers lost their mind. And when Giuliani came into office, he used them against Dinkins, and they were down there, and I was there and I saw it myself. And they were marching against Dinkins. Now Dinkins gave them more money than Giuliani ever did, because Giuliani didn't give us any money. And Dinkins did all those things. He paid cops more than damn near anybody except Carey. He paid, We started Safe Street, Safe Fund, things that we were hired on. I
Yeah.
say all that to say, cops didn't care about that. When Giuliani didn't give us any money, cops thought about going down to City Hall, and what did he tell them? The first one come down here, I'll fire you. And nobody came down there. It was like a ghost town. I saw tumbleweed blowing and the shit. It was like a Western. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I hear such the hypocrisy coming from a lot of law enforcement officers. And then everything was like, oh, Giuliani was tough on crime. Giuliani didn't give us some money. He gave us Condor. He opened up the doors for us to arrest anybody and everything. The only thing what Giuliani was good on, and I will give him that, telling people to kiss his ass, and quality of life. You know, he got rid of the panhandlers and the squeegees in the home.
Yeah, and look, the city looked better after.
Yes, it did. I can't dispute
the burn. We grew up in a city where you saw burned out cars they were all over the place. Cars on cinder blocks were normal. Graffiti on trains was normal.
Mm-hmm.
The west side of Manhattan was a disgrace. Now it's an incredible piece of land.
Yeah. Safani said also those low-skilled workers, those jobs are actually very hard. Meanwhile, some people in my corporate office fall asleep and try not to get caught. Mark said, what do we do when they replace us with a robot? His statements weren't bad, but the plan is bad for low-skilled workers, just facts. Eunice Collins says, he had only been in office 5 days and already he's being dissed. Absolutely. Mark said, it's called hit dog with holla. We have to stop with low-key words. There's a bigger picture. Collins said, what does solitary confinement scan he? I don't know what you mean. What does solitary confinement change? I don't know. Prison doesn't change anybody. Colin, in my personal opinion, it doesn't change. I haven't seen. Now, have I seen people come out of prison and talk about I've gotten an education? Yes, I have seen that. I've seen people come out with doctors. Guy Brewer came out. Guy Fisher came out. He's Dr. Guy Fisher now. You know what I'm saying? There's some people. Listen, I guess if you're gonna spend 20 some years in prison, some people have gotten culinary degrees.
People change themselves.
First and foremost, a lot of people. Let's not even get it twisted. There's a lot of people out here that we know today that you don't even know that have been incarcerated, and they may be your personal trainers. Because a lot of people that have come out of jail can get their certifications to be trainers in jail. So a lot of you didn't know that, but some of you did know that. So listen, those people have been have changed and become better people. But some people come back out, and what are they doing? If they're not jobs afforded to them, they're not careers. It is really what you want to be in life. I really get that. I'm not going to say solitary confinement is for everybody. No way in hell. But let me tell you something. Does a Dylan Roof get to sit out in the yard for 10 hours a day playing basketball and lifting weights? Does any serial killer get that privilege? Does any just person of color that's committed a heinous crime, that shot a woman and a baby or kicked the old woman down the steps and killed her, he deserves to go to jail. Maybe some part of him deserves some solitary. I mean, I think
my thing is, I don't think, for me, solitary is not for punishment on your conviction. It's for how you act within the system.
That's true too. It could be too, because there are certain people that could go into jail and go into solitary confinement.
Yeah,
there are some people that like you said. Now, if you're in prison and you slashing COs and inmates and you just stabbing, you just leaving a blood trail over and over, I can't see you not being in solitary confinement.
Yeah.
And I don't know when you come out. I don't know the time frame on slashing a CO and giving them $150.
Like, maybe that's what we should know, right? Maybe that's what they have to come up with, a very set, like, for a physical assault, you're going to get 90 days. For a slashing incident, you might get a year, 2 years in solid. Like, we should know the the thing in it. They
yeah,
should be
the parameters. The parameters, absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
but jail doesn't change people. People change people, right?
Yeah.
People eventually. There's a maturity age for every one of us, and some of these guys who do go to jail, they hit that age and they realize it's time to do something else. I don't think we've figured out as a society how we help push that along.
Yeah.
There's different programs in jail and there's things I don't know if any of them work. I think really what works is when the light bulb goes off in a man's head and says, I can't live this life anymore.
Yeah, absolutely.
You
Taylor, I totally agree. Yeah, that's when Dinkins, when he paid for the funeral, that's when he sealed his fate with society. You know.
So apparently Colin was in solitary.
Huh?
It's apparently Colin was in solitary for a while.
I don't know.
You'll see.
James Baker said, "Safe Streets, Safe City" was started under Dinkins' administration, not Giuliani. Absolutely. What's up, Kevin? Yeah, Dinkins created Safe Streets. Let me tell you something. A lot of us got paid off that, including me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Michelle said, here in Memphis, Shelby County Sheriff are seeking employment out of the state because of the low employment rate. Applications aren't coming in, and quarter of the forces are out sick, vax, or unvaccinated. The fire department is 50% out due to COVID. TN is only 48% of vax. This city is crazy. It is so much going on. Yeah. Taylor said, everyone has a choice in life. Your past doesn't have to define your future. I totally agree. Listen, Taylor, we know so many people. We from Harlem. We know so many people. I know a lot of quality people. Let me tell you something. Some of my real closest people have been incarcerated. It doesn't make them a bad person, not at all. And I'll take them with me to speaking engagements. They've been with me on that because the bottom line is they can show you what it's like to make a mistake and still change your life around. I totally get that. And I don't want anybody to ever think that I'm saying just because you make a mistake, you're supposed to be in solitary confinement, because I'm not saying that. That is nothing even closely remotely coming out my mouth. I'm just saying I'm talking heinous, barbaric crimes. You know what I'm saying? And I ask you all, if this was somebody that something happened to your family and this person, God forbid, went on a killing spree, and God forbid your family was in a store, do you want this person to be just in general population now for 10 years, 15 years? What like I said, if it's personal, I don't know. There's something to think about.
I think anybody in jail for any crime except for sexual offenses can change.
Colin said he was in solitary confinement, and look at him now. Colin, you're a class act, brother. You know what I'm saying? And even if you were, let me tell you something. You're the black version of Kaiser Soze. You know what I'm saying? Because let me tell you something. You probably a bad dude, brother. So true. What's up, Wayne? I see you. Thank you for chiming in. Everybody, what's your thoughts? What's your takes? People will nay and yay it all along. We know definitely if it's personal, you're gonna feel a different way. It's not trying to make things personal, but what I listen. You've all listened to me for what? How long we been on now, Malika?
Almost 2 hours.
Not 2. I'm talking about years. Almost. We're getting on before that time, sweetie. Yes. Almost 2 years. Yeah, that was cute. That's my wife. Exactly. Almost 2 years. And I think you've heard me fight for the rights of people, especially people of color, but the rights of people. I just want fair equality. I don't deal with the BS. Do I believe in law and order? Absolutely. I mean, I've come from martial arts, a discipline. That's a disciplinary activity. If you've played sports, and this is the whole thing. Anybody that has gone to college, You go to work, you go to school, you go anywhere in life, you go home. You have been in a disciplinary situation. Your parents told you what to do. Your job tells you what to do unless you're the owner of the company or the boss. Your school, college told you what to do. They said when you had to do a certain amount of many page essay or report, you ain't say, nah, I don't want to do it. You did it if you want that diploma or that degree.
Yeah.
So, if you wanted to play on a sports team, hockey, basketball, football, baseball, whatever it is, you did what the coach said. You didn't like the coach, you went to another team. So we all come from a disciplinary work lifestyle. Right now, I think that is missing in this world. Some of us come from a culture that we got our ass beat by our parents. Now, you may have grown up and when you had children, you didn't beat their behind, and because you found out how to get around the loophole of not touching, the evolution of being a parent. Our parents was like, yo, we ain't having that. We grew up in a culture where, you get popped. That's it. Shut up. Be quiet. What did that? We grew up in a culture, like I said, be seen, not heard. How did it work for all of us? All of us hardworking individuals that are still here and we're law-abiding citizens. Law-abiding citizens. I don't know. You tell me what you're feeling. Stefani said, before you guys go, have you heard about the new variant, IHU? What's up, Prentice? 2-8 in the house. Jason, what's up? What part of the streets were safe under Dinkins? Well, I don't know, Jason. You don't feel the streets were safe under Dinkins? Okay. I definitely don't feel the streets were safe under de Blasio. I have to sit back and think about Dinkins. That era. We talking about the crack era. That was under Koch. Then Dinkins. Koch, Dinkins, right?
Yeah, I mean the murder rate was very high under Dinkins.
Yes. Yep. So I didn't say, listen, I didn't say he was the greatest mayor. I just said he put more cops out there in the streets, right? Dinkins tried to be a political nice with everybody. And that's what I was saying, Jay. Sometimes you can't play nice. Sometimes you just got to say, say what I said. And it is, because let me tell you something. When Bloomberg and Giuliani was in office, they said what they said and they meant what they said, and they told you to get out, be quiet, shut up, doing press conferences and all kind of stuff. And everybody was like, "Ooh, wow, ooh, okay." Listen, if Dinkins would have did that, it would have been a problem.
What years was Dinkins mayor?
80, what late 80s to
88,
90,
88, 92?
Yes, or 90, 88 to 92. Yeah.
For the last 50 years, the murder rate was the highest under him over anybody else.
Right.
And we can do it by numbers and percentage of population, and he's still the highest.
What was the murder rate?
He had the peak at 1990 with 2,600.
Wow, 2,600.
Yeah, I mean that's
a lot.
Pretty massive.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah, and that.
But what year was that? Too?
1990.
Wasn't drugs the epidemic? I mean, like
look,
crack. No, I'm not trying to defend Dinkins at all, but I mean, listen, the streets were crazy.
Yeah, it was a crazy city back then.
The streets were crazy.
Yeah.
So
I would go with this. It was the worst under him.
Jason said the only thing Dinkins cared about was the U.S. Open. Well, yeah, we all know he loved his tennis. We do know that. Yes.
And the plan started under him for the change. If he would have done the next 4 years, would the change have happened the same? Maybe.
Well, the one thing I do know, and I was working for the mayor's office back then, safe streets, safe city.
Yes.
Started under him, like you said.
Yep.
And Giuliani used and kept it. Mm-hmm. And put his name on it.
Yeah.
I do know that for a fact.
Giuliani, know if he was, I don't know about him using the title of Safe Streets, but he definitely.
I didn't say he used the titles. He changed. What I'm trying to say is, I worked for the mayor's office. The stats were in my hand. That's where I've met so many of these politicians that we speak of today, that are in office, and deputy mayors and people like that. I'm telling you, when the Safe Streets and that came out, and when Dinkins came out of office, Giuliani kept that. He may have not called it that, but he kept that.
And let's look. You look at that first 2 years of Giuliani, the murder rate, his second year, dropped by 1,000. That's massive. That's a massive number.
Yeah, I mean, but also too, and this is what people are having a problem with now. Giuliani took the leashes off, and I hate to say it in this terminology, he took the leashes off our necks and said, "Go arrest anybody for anything."
Yeah. And look, and I'll go back to that was the right way to do it at that moment. Could we have been a little soft with something? Sure. But you had to, when things are that out of control, you got to go a little hard. And then you got to kind of pull back. That's why I like Bratton. Bratton understood the differences of what and when you're policing. Right? You can't have, when he came back, the crime rate here was incredibly low when he came back. So you can't have the same tactics.
Yeah.
You know,
let me ask you a question before we get out of here. We got 2 minutes before 4 minutes before we get out of here. Do you think it's about the commissioner, or you just think it's about the mayor?
Depends. With Bratton, it's the commissioner. With most, it's the mayor. Bratton, and that's like, you know, I guess in a sports world, that's having Bill Belichick as your coach. He's really in charge. There's no ends, ifs, or buts. But if you have a new coach, like the GM might have a lot of say, and the owner has a lot of say of how they're doing, who they're playing.
So what do you think Bratton
I'm saying
did?
Bratton's an elite, so he's not going to.
What did you think he did over Kelly or Safer or anybody else? What did you think Bratton did?
I think he's the best of all time, actually.
But I'm asking you why. I'm not disputing
because that was the reason I gave it before. It's he could pivot, right? When he came in, he was a very harsh, you know, we're going to be cops. We're going to go out there. We're going to arrest people. We're going to take back this city. His second time around, he wasn't that guy. His second time around is community policing. We're going to hang out with people. We're going to talk to people. We're going to try to keep this down. We're going to get it lower. He had a different tempo because it was a different city. So I've always liked that about him, that he had that ability. He wasn't one-dimensional. He went with what it was.
Yeah. Let me just read some comments before we get out of here. Yeah. Mark said, you guys brought it tonight, but the audience was on fire as well. Absolutely. Happy New Year, everybody. Thank you for all this. Thanks, guys. I appreciate you both. Lisa Shane, shout out to Lisa Shane. She said, love these conversations. Great job to both of you. Ms. Taylor said, Bill, you and I both know back in the day, the neighborhood thugs had morals. These young people now are on a whole different level. They really need to get a handle on the gun violence. Absolutely. Jason said, I think Adams has to take the lead in fighting crime. Absolutely. Mark said, Kevin, Dinkins is going to come to your house tonight for not respecting his name. Yo, what's up?
Line out front. You could just get on the line.
Yeah. What's up, Trish Camacho? How are you, Mullen? Tell Mikey Mo I said hi. So everybody, before we get out of here, I have two more public service announcements that I'm going to give. Please keep Allison in your prayers. I'll probably have either another co-host for a few times. Maybe Malika will sit in with me. Tomorrow is my birthday. We'll try to come on it tomorrow, right, Malika, at 7 o'clock?
Yeah, we gotta do it a live toast.
And we're going to do a live toast tomorrow for my birthday. So everybody's more than welcome to come on, please, 7 o'clock. Just come to my page and we'll go live and just have a toast, whatever you drink. I'm not buying. I'm just pouring. Also, too, first Monday of the month, Al Taylor. The second Monday of the month, Dr. Marilyn Corder. We coming up. Omicron, new variants. Like she just said, what is this? Stefania, IHU. My God, what is this crazy? It's a new one. Like these shits are coming out left and right. What else did I wanted to say? The third Monday of the month, of course, Real Talk with Allison Williams. We'll have somebody sitting in on that. Maybe some celebrity people. Maybe my wife is a celebrity. She'll be sitting in on it. Maybe Kevin. Maybe Chuck. Maybe we'll have some. Maybe some of the Real Talk family will sit in and hang out with us just to take her slot until she gets back. But like I said, please keep her in your prayers. Also, the fourth one, the Pastor Kevin Graves, Spiritual Walk with Pastor Kevin Graves. Every Wednesday, we have Kevin and Chuck and Kevin. Right now, please say some prayers for Chuck and his family. Also, too, like I said, public service announcement. The show is sponsored by Soft Illusions Art Gallery. So yeah, and this is just one of many things. If you like fine art, if you look at the painting on the wall behind me, Malika Mother and her own an art gallery, and that is one of the paintings of some of the paintings. But this calendar for your month, your birthday month, this abstract art, right? So it's just beautiful colors and it's a fine material, and you definitely, right?
You are so good at this. I'm gonna have to put you on payroll.
Right. So if you want to order, Malika will put it in the link again.
I just want to say,
Malika, I noticed you're not telling him he's past his time now.
Yeah, not when it comes to this.
Yeah, Kevin, what time, right?
Yeah.
I just want to say thank you, Stefania, and thank you, Joy Taylor. Got your orders and packing them up here now. So thank you.
Okay, and Eunice Collins, you put your order in. I thank you. Also, too, the show is also honored by the Deadly Art of Survival Martial Arts magazine.
Woo.
Right. It's a very beautiful. It's on Amazon. You can buy it on Amazon. It shows a lot about the martial arts history.
And you're in it.
And I'm in it. Yo, oh shit, I forgot. Like you said. So I mean, for those that know, I've been in the martial arts 30-some years. I love it. It is just a way of life. And if you want to read a little bit about your boy, there is Sensei William Foster. And, I'll tell you a little bit about my police history career too and stuff like that. So with that being said, Happy New Year. Kevin, give us some positive love and affirmation. Great show tonight. It's always chopping it up with you. Joy says she ordered 2 calendars, Malika.
Joy, look, this is your order right here, Joy. I got it all for you right here. Thank you.
Also, too, everybody, if you're watching from YouTube, appreciate you guys from chiming in on YouTube. Subscribe to it. We might eventually just move to YouTube altogether.
I really think we should.
Malika wants us to, if you want sponsorship, it depends on it and take it to another level. Thank you all for chiming in. Thank you for this great love and support in the beginning year. Happy New Year. Please be safe. Take care of yourselves. Love your families. Protect yourselves until crime around the world. Prayers out to the family in Philadelphia that lost their lives in that fire. That's tragic. To the fellow officers out there that are doing their job in the world, please be safe. It's not an easy job. Never said it was. You are held to a higher standard. It goes. I guess they didn't tell you when you took the oath. You come to find out that you learn that on the job training. And with that being said, tomorrow I'm celebrating my birthday. So that's a beautiful thing. And Kevin, give us some love and some positive stuff for tonight.
All right. Well, again, Happy New Year to everybody. I'm hoping everybody has a great 2022. My usual thing at the end of the show, take a break, get off the internet, get out of the news for a day, find your Zen place in the world and recharge your battery.
Any rock climbing, Kevin?
I'm going out. I was out last week. I was out freezing cold, 20 degrees. I'm out. I bought snowshoes. I plan on going all winter long. I just enjoy being out in the woods like that, the long walk. You're
going to go up in the mountains one day and some goats or some deers or something going to kick your ass. They're going to be tired of you playing on their rocks.
Kevin has a little friend that follows him around.
Oh, he does?
Yeah.
I don't know that. I don't think you got to tell me about this.
It's in the pictures. I've seen them.
Oh,
if you see me on Facebook with my high heels, you'll understand.
Oh,
I'm being stalked in the woods.
Really? Nice.
But yeah, find your place. Just take a break. You can't be on this every day. The world's a crazy place. COVID's crazy. Crime can get crazy. Politics can get crazy. One day a week, if you're not paying attention, one, you can't change it, and two, it just recharges you. Find time for yourself. Find time for your family. Find time for your friends.
Absolutely.
Get a hobby.
There you go.
God bless everyone. Have a good night.
Good night, everybody. See you tomorrow if you want to party.
Bye.
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock. There you go.